you winners. I'm so glad to see y'all today. And I'm so glad that you have chosen to win and walk with Kris. I am your host, Kris. And probably by my post yesterday, uh, you saw that I was going to go live because I had some hot topics to talk about, and I actually got notes for this hot topics. Uh, Not gonna uh, go off the dome too much, say for where the Lord wants to direct me, because this topic I've had to sit with and just really pray about, but it's one that affects the community of Frisco and all of the surrounding communities, including my community, which is sister city to Frisco. Frisco is probably 15 minutes from here, so um, I just and I waited on that because there's so many different opinions coming across and so much uh, passionate arguing and so much uh, spreading of so much misinformation by people who aren't even in the state. And and I just prayed about it, and there's a few things I have to say about it, knowing what I know about Frisco. Um, I've been in Texas my whole life, save for maybe 3 years of my life. Um, I was born in England, as y'all know, but 3 years afterward, when I was about three and a half, we moved to Texas, and we've been ever since in North Texas. Uh, Dallas, the Dallas area to be exact. So I'm not talking about somebody that's outside of the state of Texas or somebody that's outside of uh, Dallas County. I'm in Dallas County. Collin County and Dallas County, like I say, are sister counties. They're 10, 15 minutes apart from each other. So Frisco is nowhere from me. Frisco is nowhere I've never been before. Frisco is somewhere I go 5 to 6 times a month. So I have friends in Frisco. So it's not this foreign city. Hey, Jersey Love, Steph in the building. How you doing? Hey, Miss Lily. All of my troops are coming in. Praise the name of the Lord. Um, yeah, I've been praying about this, just watching this all unfold. And I have quite a bit, like I said, I made notes so I don't do too much rambling. But you know me, I'm going to go off the dome on some things and just be hearing from the Lord. And I'm just going to say what He tells me to say. Um, the topic of discussion is Frisco, Texas, and what just took place in Frisco, Texas, and what's going on now, and the misinformation that's being spread by people who are not even in Texas. They don't even know anything about Texas, but they're up for likes, clicks, views, shares, talking about, oh, it's all right. They're riding on their scooters today. Um, Talking about Frisco and you don't know about Frisco. You don't have a clue as to what you're talking about. And that um, is what's irritating to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk probably up to the park. I think there's a place in the park where I can sit and have this discussion. But yeah, like I said, I've been very, very prayerful as to whether or not I was even going to broach this subject because it's such a hot topic, but it's one that I think needs to be opened up and for the broader community to discuss rationally, intelligently, with as much correct information as we can. I'm not saying that you have to be from Frisco or North Texas to give accurate information. That's not what I'm saying. Because it's plenty of people. who aren't from here that have been doing just that. They have, there are several YouTubers that have been reporting unbiased. They were at the Collin County Courthouse and their reporting was unbiased, but then there were other YouTubers that was very slanted and biased reporting, and in the unbiased there was a lot of inaccuracy. You know, it leaned more to how I feel, what I think, versus how things really were. And that's two different ships, and you can only sail on one of them. So, yeah, yeah, it is hot button, and Ray was kind of going to work today, and he was kind of like almost cringe because he knows that uh, some of his coworkers are going to bring it up because they want to know his side of it, his take of it, but they don't want to know it from the standpoint of righteousness or, just having an honest, open dialogue. It's for him, for them, more than likely, it's just a way to him, bait him into something inflammatory. I told him, I said, politics and religion and issues that are made to be racial issues are not something you talk to your coworkers or your manager about if you're wise. Those are not discussions that you should have with them. Um, and I wouldn't entertain it. So, man, what do you think about Carmelo Anthony? What do you think about Austin Metcalf? I think I'm getting ready to go back to work. Y'all have a nice afternoon. God bless you. That's what I think. Because on the job, it lends itself to foolishness. And it's also a categorization in a box to fit you in personally that could affect you uh, uh, professionally and financially. We can put you here, oh, so you one of them. That's how you feel. No, no, I'm at work. I get paid to work. I didn't get paid to have a commentary or an opinion about anything about the work that I'm getting paid to do. That's it. You want to talk about it off the job, away from the job? I'll entertain the thought. But more than likely, I won't even do it then because I understand that coworkers and managers aren't my friends. When it all comes down and I'm standing 10 toes down, I'll be standing by myself. Right. It's true. You can't be that naive. Uh, that sort of naivete is for the youth uh, who haven't lived much of life. They are allowed that rookie mistake. But somebody old, you know better than that. But with Ray is not young and he's not naive, but he is uh, very trusting, particularly of people he feels like he's known for years. He's worked there almost 10 years. So he knows those people, knows all the managers, all of them. He's worked with a lot of people before at Home Depot because he worked at Home Depot too. So he feels like he knows them and he feels like he can somewhat let his guard down with them. But I told him, I said, when it comes to your paycheck, your livelihood, you can know them and love them, but never give anybody a stick to beat you over the head with and think for 1 minute that when the time suits them, they won't. will. They will. But yeah. Is the sound okay, y'all, or is it kind of cause it's really windy out here. Everything sound okay? Uh y'all let me know. The air is kind of heavy, like I don't want to say, but I hope it don't rain because my hair's already a bush. But yeah, love with boundaries is wise. There's wisdom in that. You have to weigh your words real carefully, and you have to really consider what's being said because we live in the internet age, and the internet is undefeated in the information that it gathers, and AI makes it um, uh, it accelerates the process even more. Let's sit down here on this bench. You know, like old people do in the park. Okay. If it if it gets to be too much, let me know and I will make a video of the rest of what it is I'm getting ready to say. But I just wanted to um, look at some of the issues that are going on and address some of the really out and out lies that I've been hearing. Hey, Sister Mary, how are you? Glad you can make it in. I just want to address some of the lies I'm hearing about Frisco and all of these narratives that are being spun that are inaccurate. You didn't need to be at the Collin County Courthouse, and you didn't even need to get the transcripts to see the truth if you really wanted to see it. If you looked at uh, more of the unbiased opinions, just the straight facts, took the emotion out of it, and just looked at things as though you were a doctor clinically, you could see, you could get a great idea and be right about it, putting it with scripture and putting it with what you as a Christ follower um, truly understand to be right. The compass that's internally on the inside of you that gives you right from wrong, you're able to you're able to discern that. So you didn't need a whole lot, but you could understand bias when you heard it. Because you know what it sounds like. Bias has a ring of untruth to it. If you have the spirit of discernment, you have the Holy Spirit, you could listen to two people for about 10 minutes and you could make a fairly accurate uh, uh, an accurate assessment with the spirit of discernment. If you're just listening, listening is everything. I spent maybe 4 or 5 minutes listening to Carmelo's parents just an hour ago, just 4 to 5 minutes. I saw the press conference that they did right after the incident, and I saw how they were speaking. I saw how Dominique Alexander was speaking. I heard the rhetoric, which is decades old and really needs to be abolished. I'm going in on that too. I'm gonna address all of that, and I'm gonna address all that in a way that's going to lose friends and uh, insult and offend people. Yeah, I'm going to be offensive, so I'm just telling you that now. I'm going to offend. Some of the things I say are going to be offensive. Um, but just and my mom used to say this all the time. If you want to know how a person really is, observe them over a period of time. People lie a lot. They can lie to you um, about themselves. They can put on a good show, put on a good front for a period, but they can't continue to lie about themselves after a while, their actions give them away. What they do, how they carry themselves, it gives them away. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, I'm going to start with some of the lies that I just heard over and over and over from several different platforms. And I'm not here to call those platforms out. I'm not here for that. But I'm here to correct some of the just quick lies that I've heard, and I've heard so many. But the three or four that just irked me the most, I've written down. This first lie that I heard, I don't know how many times, about an all-white jury. This was an all-white jury. Carmelo got railroaded because of this all-white jury. Um, and they didn't pick anybody black that could serve on that jury. It was an all white jury. They already knew what they were gonna do before they did it. Da 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 da. It's a lie from Satan. That's a lie from Satan. There were five. One was a Middle Eastern woman. One was Hispanic. The other three were Asian. The other three were Asian. So that was a lie. And allegedly, from what I gathered, because I'm keeping up with all of this. From what I gathered, there were black jurors that were eligible to serve that allegedly, and this was unanimous, they decided because Carmelo was black, I can't see putting a brother in jail like that. This was a young boy, he was a baby. I can't see doing him like that. I just can't see it. So it wasn't that there were no black jurors. It was just that the black jurors overall decided that they couldn't be fair and impartial. And that's so sad. As a juror myself, and anybody who knows me knows how many juries I've served on. I've served on civil, state, federal. I've served on federal juries too. That's poppycock. Collin County is majority minority. There are a lot of white people, but there are a lot of Middle Eastern people, Asian people, and some black people. So the idea that was an all white jury is poppycock, but it's designed to do something right here before a major weekend, and that is inflame these racial tropes to incite activities that send people to jail. So there's that. Then this other lie about Carmelo was jumped. They jumped him, they beat him up, and he had to defend himself because he didn't know if they were going to take his life. So that's why he pulled the knife. Nobody on either side testified to that under oath. Nobody. There was this video. No video has been found yet because there's no video. Neither the prosecution nor the defense had witnesses to testify. Now it's being investigated. I hope he's brought up on charges because that is wicked. But again, this is a trope designed to fan the flames of hatred, internal hatred in people who already have hatred, which is generally not the norm. Most people don't walk around like that, but there are a handful of outliers that do. But the mainstream media is playing to those outliers. How else are you going to bring peace and chaos? Which is the bottom line if you're paying attention. And then this other thing, this other lie I hear. Frisco is just, it's racist. Those white people are racist. They hate black people. Hate them. Just absolutely hate them. Don't go to Frisco. It's a sundown town. What? Are you serious? Hi. I mean, how do you know that? How do you know that? I've been in and out of Frisco for nearly 30 years. 30. I used to go to church in Frisco. My church sits at the border of Frisco and Plano, and it was ethnically diverse. Every tribe, every tongue, every nation under heaven goes to their church. Every good shopping place, save some here in Dallas, is in Frisco, Texas. Frisco and those outlying areas. If Frisco is so racist, then what happened to me? I'm in and out of there all the time. All the time. I just left there last week or the week before. I go in and out of Frisco all the time. Because, like I said, it's 15 minutes from here. I have friends of mine that live in Frisco, right around the area where everything happened. I don't know about Memorial High School, but I have friends who graduated from Centennial. And interestingly enough, the church I used to attend is representative of all of North Texas. Every law enforcement agency in North Texas attended that church and still does. So I got to know law enforcement from Frisco, Allen, McKinney, Plano, Richardson, and Dallas. All of them. And all of those law enforcement agencies were represented the whole time the trial was going on, not just Frisco. And low key, I think the National Guard was out there too. So this idea that Frisco, and oh, by the way, Frisco is no more of a racist city than the city I live in. We're going to have to look at what we consider racist because there's a difference between somebody being rude to you and being racist toward you. There's a difference. And I think as Black people, I think we've conflated or confused the two completely. Like I say, I've been in and out of Frisco for almost 30 years. Not one racial interaction have I had. Have people been rude? Yeah, absolutely. But racial? No. Some people are not racist, some people are just rude. But you're going to find that everywhere. But if you are Black and you go into an area you feel is predominantly white and you're looking to be mistreated and you're looking for racism, you'll find it everywhere. You'll find it everywhere you look. Anybody white that says something to you in a rude way could be telling you the truth. But if it's rude, they're a racist. If you don't like it, they're a racist. If it doesn't make you feel good, they're racist. I feel another video rising. Just sitting here. I gotta make a video about victim mentality and the whole psychology of victim mentality and how in 2026 it's killing us as a human race. Um, what else am I looking at? Talked about the black Jews and stuff like that. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I don't even need to go over the facts of the case because I think they have been. I think they've really been running to the ground, and unbiased opinions are hard to find. Uh, but the blunt truth is, a 17-year-old took a knife and called what he did self-defense. And maybe in his mind he thought it was self-defense because 17-year-olds are children. Background noise reduction. I'm sorry. It's picking up planes. I'm sorry. Uh, this Timu right here. Timu right here. But it was not self-defense. You took a life. You took a life. The force didn't match the force. 17-year-old boys taunt each other. Uh, they walk around strutting like young peacocks and roosters. They scrap. They roll on the ground. They lay hands on each other. They push each other. They shove each other. They do all of that in every school on the planet. But it's game over when a weapon's used and a life's taken. It's not just playground fisticuffs anymore. It's murder. It's murder. So we can't be hypocritical about what we feel the punishment should have been because it's somebody that we love. We can't look at the age when it's somebody we care about, when it's somebody that looks like us. We can't skirt rendering unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar and unto God what belongs to God. You can't you can't make shortcuts or excuses for what happened simply because he's black. You can't do it. And you can't spit on the grave of somebody you murdered either by disrespecting his family and his parents and his community. Okay, so you were a 3.4 GPA student. You had two jobs. You were a track star and in football too. Yeah, that's great. But Austin had a future too. Austin had a life too. Austin had family members too. What do you do about him? Well, what you do about him is if you are Carmelo's family and Carmelo himself, what you do is, at the very least, say his name, acknowledge his family's grief and pain, show remorse, empathize, sympathize. This was not what I planned. This is not what I wanted to happen. I'm sorry. I know sorry means nothing because there's nothing I can do to bring Austin back. But I truly am repentant and I pray the Lord forgives me for that. Start there. But all y'all have done, because y'all know that Jeff's a Christian, And y'all know that by the love of Christ, he's shown you this whole year. Y'all also knew that he had a gag order on him for months, and he couldn't say anything while y'all were running y'all mouths the whole time. It's just hurtful. It's hurtful that you can't look at Austin as being a child. You just his name or just the reference of him comes out of your mouth as though you're spitting that boy. That boy is 3 months younger, or would have been 3 months younger than your son. They're 3 months apart in age. The children. You can feel for your child, but you can't feel for nobody else's child. It's just mine and it's just about him. And it was just self defense. Because the big white boys they were gonna kill him. He didn't know he was just scared. The children. The children. Carmelo made a fatal decision. Fatal. And even now, the parents are still not doing the right thing. They are doubling and tripling down on this racist rhetoric. Finally, Jeff Metcalf is able to speak, and I'm so glad for him. I'm so glad for him. But even before his gag order, he continued to say, do not make this about race or politics because it's not about either. It's not. In the grand scheme of things, it's about a young boy making a fatal decision. Not a mistake. Notice I didn't say mistake, I said decision. Maybe he didn't truly consider what it was he was about to do, but he understood enough to know what could have happened and what ultimately did, enough to do it. So saying your son is not a murderer is inaccurate. Maybe he didn't wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to go kill Austin today. I'm sure he didn't. But his actions killed him. They just did. Frisco is not a scary or threatening place. It's not a place for a pocket knife in your bag. You know, in Texas, you could carry a pocket knife with you, but that pocket knife was not for school at all. That was against the school policies, if not the state. But Memorial High School, Lakeview High School, those are really not even pocket knife places. They're like plastic spoons and knife places. Those are like, I mean, we're talking Frisco. I mean, Frisco ain't the hood. Frisco is not the hood. I know the hood when I see it. Frisco's not it. Frisco is nowhere near the hood. Amazing people in Frisco. Some of the most God fearing, hard working people you ever meet. Yeah, they have money. There's money in Frisco too. But Frisco is not the hood. There was no reason for even a pocket knife. But even with that, there was no reason for him to use it. None. That wasn't self defense. Wasn't self defense. Um, and the playing field was level. I want to bring that up too. Carmelo's from Baton Rouge, from Louisiana. Well, they moved to Frisco from Louisiana. Austin is from Frisco, born and raised. The schools are sister schools. So it's not like Carmelo was coming across the country. No. Basically, in a sense, crossing the street, in a sense. The playing field was level. So it wasn't this trope, oh, the black boy from the hood always gets the short end of the stick. And you know, the little rich white boys, you know, they're going to stick together. This is not that. This is not anywhere near that. It's not that. What this all boils down to simply is the devil's oldest and most effective tool in his belt. The one that he has used since the beginning of time. And that, rock stars, is that of pride. Nice month for it, right? Yeah. That same pride. That's what this is. That's what this is. Carmelo had multiple opportunities to walk away, to leave and to live. Multiple. Multiple. Austin told him, I ain't trying to fight you here under this tent, man. Just leave. Carmelo said, F you. I'm staying. So, in other words, who you white boys think y'all talking to? Why y'all trying to sun me? I'm gonna show you what it is. Now he's on his way to a correctional facility near Houston that just got air conditioning in 2018. And they had to file a lawsuit to get it. Many of the inmates in that facility are 60 and older. There are some young people in that facility, but primarily it is geriatric. But let that sink in. You are going from an Escalade in a big old air conditioned house in Frisco to a facility that just barely got air conditioning just a few years ago because of pride. Pride. You are eligible for parole in 17 and a half years, maybe. If God shows mercy, God shows mercy, you'll be almost 40 before you're eligible for parole. So that's almost 40. It just is very very horrible. It's horrible all the way around. And so, with all of that being said, I'm gonna make three other points. I'm gonna try to get through it. If the wind is blowing, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm working on getting rid of this Timu, get rid of this Timu microphone. But I haven't yet. I mean, but it's too tight to mention right now. 2026, okay. But I'm gonna say three things, and I'm glad I got my notes. I'm gonna say three things that I think are very important in this climate, particularly for Frisco, Texas, right now, and all of the surrounding cities, including my city. I'm going to say this about Texas law enforcement, and I know a good deal about Texas law enforcement because I have cousins who are Dallas police. They're a part of the DPD. I have one cousin who recently passed, and he was a Dallas police officer. But a lot of the police officers in my area, I know them. So I am very aware with law enforcement. The church I went to, all of North Texas finest are pretty much in that church. We had officers that will come from San Antonio to the church, very popular church for that area, and so I got to sit and know a lot about it. And it's one thing about Texas law enforcement: we band together and we're nobody to be messed with. And people coming here from out of town who want to come in and agitate Black Lives Matter, Antifa, they find out pretty quickly we're not to be messed with. The slogan from years ago, "Don't mess with Texas," it rings true. It rings true. Law enforcement around here doesn't play. They don't. And Frisco is nobody to be played with. Number one, first thing you do after all this is done, you pray for both families, both of them. Because both of these boys, I don't care what anybody says, they've been called monsters and bullies and demons and every wicked thing imaginable. They've this everything. The internet is rife with wickedness when it comes to both of these young men, and that's what they are. They're children. Even now, Carmelo is a child. He's 19. He's in the penal system. He's a young man, but he's a child who took the life of another child. Both lives are to be mourned because both lives are ruined. One life can continue on to repentance, to restoration, to a saving relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's my prayer for Carmelo Anthony and his family. I'm praying that they come to Christ. I'm praying Psalm 51 for them. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Because the spirit's not right. The spirit's not right. The love of Christ has not been shown by them at all. For Austin's life mattered. He didn't just leave his family, he left Frisco as a whole. He left all that he could do for his community and the surrounding ones was cut short. Psalm 51 is applicable for the whole family. For Austin's family, I pray Psalm 46 over them. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And I know that Jeff and Megan know that. And they know that all of the world who love the Lord stand behind them 1,000%. But I pray Psalm 46, verse 10 for them, that in their grief, they can be still and know that He is God. Know that He's God. That they can have comfort in how they raised Austin. And they can have assurance that they will see Austin again in that great getting up day. Number 2, this is to the YouTubers, the bloggers, the commentators, the reporters, particularly those on YouTube. Though I've seen some local reports, uh, but for the biased reporters that were just pro Carmelo and anti Austin, I want to say this: strive now, this moment, for self accountability, self accountability. Begin now to be the solution. Now that you've gotten your likes, clicks, views, shares, AdSense, revenue, brand deals, partnerships, now that you've profited off of an innocent life, have some self accountability now. Be the solution and not the problem. Look at your content. Because, see, now pretty much, as we are looking at this case, facts are coming out. The truth is coming out. Jeff Metcalf is able to speak, and he's speaking in an extremely truthful way about things he's known this whole time. The truth's coming out. And there may have to be some, if you are of God, there may have to be some revisions to some of your reporting. And there may have to be some complete retractions. Look very, very carefully at everything you report. And understand that reckless words can bring legal consequences. Understand there is such a thing in Scripture and in a court of law that pertains to slander and libel. Go and look at your content. Make certain it's factual. And understand that your content is being looked at by the powers that be, as it always is. Be just as diligent about what you say and as diligent about fact checking as you are about popping off at the mouth. Because for some of it, it's going to come for your livelihood in legal suits. Understand that. It's extremely important. Getting up on YouTube, I'm just gonna get them a piece of my mind. It could cost you everything if you're not careful. So just go look at your stuff. Make sure it's accurate. But if it's not, don't be surprised if there are repercussions. Remember, I told you. Number three, watch what you say. Watch what you say. Let your words be seasoned with grace and salt. Walk in the ways of the Lord. Let what you say and the life you live show going forward that you fear God, not man. Forsake everybody that forsakes the Lord in your life. If your whole neighborhood turns aside to wickedness, forsake your neighborhood. If your family goes the way of wickedness, forsake your family. Leave your father and your mother. Leave them. Forsake them. You're here for a purpose and a reason. And if you are a Christ follower, you understand the evil that's involved in this life we live in. You want to be in place for when the Lord returns. And anyone who would be a hindrance to you and the assignment and the call that you have on your life, forsake them now. Walk with the wise and become wiser. But know this at the same time, a companion of fools will suffer harm. Not the fools, but the companion. Separate yourself. Separate yourself from hindrance you already know are hindrances. Don't let skin color be the golden calf that causes you to ultimately be rejected by the Lord and thrown into the lake of fire. Look at the breadth of Austin Matthew Metcalf's life. 17 years. Gone in an instant. Look at the current life of Karmelo Sincere Anthony. 17 years. Gone in an instant. Understand what it is that God is trying to say to you here. Hive mind and group think is the broad way that leads to destruction, and many will go therein. Destruction is the lake of fire. Straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, and few there be that find it. If you're the only one in your neighborhood and the whole neighborhood is set for evil, be that one. Be that one. The covering of the Lord will cover you. His glory will be your rear guard. He will have your back if you're the only one. Understand this too. And I'm gonna go because I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go to the gym, y'all. I gotta go. But understand this too. Around you are Carmelo Sinceres and Austin Matthews every day. You, what comes out of here, can make the difference between the two. Pray to the Lord for boldness. Our children need us. They don't need us to be cutesy and demure anymore. They need the truth about life and death. Put your phone down. Take your eyelashes and your weave off. Turn in the Escalade and look your children eyeball to eyeball and talk to them about Jesus. Train up a child in the way they should go. So when they are old, they shall not depart from it. Again, these were children. This wasn't racial. This wasn't political. This was spiritual. This was spiritual. Pride goeth before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. Look at the children in your neighborhood. Speak life to them. Give them the truth about everything. Speak to them. Yeah, they are aloof. A lot of them don't even want to look you in the eye. But reach out to them anyway. Speak to them. They need you. They need you. Over the past couple of years since we've lived here, I walked past the school that Kadri graduated from, high school, and I've had several conversations just in Super Target, or they're walking across the street from school, because there's a bunch of them that get out at the same time. And I am amazed at how many of them just want somebody to talk to other than somebody in their age group. They just want to talk. But we're so busy as adults trying to feed them, clothe them, shelter them, uh, make sure they have what they need for school, make sure they have this, that, and the third for their all of their extracurricular activities, that we've forgotten to give them ourselves. We've gotten to forgive them, forgotten to give them the love of Christ. Those things help you as a young person to make decisions totally opposite to the decisions that were made on April 2nd. We got to pray, but then we got to get up from our knees make a difference. We have to seek the Lord while he might be found and call on him while he's near. And we've got to get our assignments together and get going, get busy. I believe that's all I want. All I wanted to say, and I believe all that the Lord had for me to say. I may look at this victim mentality deal and speak on that. I'm gonna let the Lord lead on that. But y'all pray for this area. Oh, I'm praying for the state of Colorado. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like California. A lot like California. Very liberal. So open-minded, brains fall out. I get it. I've uh, I went to Colorado Springs. A friend of my mom lived in Colorado Springs when we were up there. I'd never been to Colorado before, but yes, it is very liberal. I lived in LA for like 2 years, something like that. When my mom and dad were going through their divorce, we were in LA. Got a lot of relatives in LA. Very, very, very liberal. I will lift up the state of Colorado, all of the liberal states really, because it's they're breeding grounds for every abomination under the sun. The sense of right and wrong is warped. You know, there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no angels, no demons, there's no Satan, there's no Jesus. You know, uh, there are no absolute right or wrong. And when you have that, you are godless. You are without Christ. This weekend is Juneteenth weekend. It's the weekend when the slaves here in Texas were notified about the Emancipation Proclamation. So there will be a lot of cookouts, a lot of barbecues. Uh, and I'm praying that that's all there is. But there are still some people down here. A lot of people flew down here for the trial, and they're still down here. And I just pray that everybody pursues peace, and that all will be well, particularly in Frisco. There was a lot of just insanity down there the whole week. And I pray that all of those people have left. I pray for the city of Frisco and her sister cities, and I pray for the law enforcement for all of those cities because they have been busy, and unfortunately, I feel like this weekend they're going to be busier. I pray to be wrong. I pray to be wrong, but you guys, I know it's super sunny out here and you probably can't even hardly see me, but um, I thank y'all so much for watching. And I hope that you rock stars have an amazing rest of your week.